What's up, everybody? I hope y'all are having a great day. My name's Anthony, and today we're going to talk about 5 reasons why I like to put sunflowers in my garden every single year. So sunflowers, or the Latin name Helianthus, are native to the Americas. The name itself, Helianthus, is from the Greek word helios, meaning sun, and anthos, meaning flower. So sunflower, legitimately. So they are from the Americas, and as of the colonization, they were obviously transferred all over the world. So now your two biggest producers of sunflowers are the United States and Russia, surprisingly enough. They really do love their sunflowers. I absolutely love growing them, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I like to put them in my garden. Okay, so the number one, the main reason why I put these in my garden every single year is because they make a statement. Now, when you drive by, so I got the mailman, my wife, whoever, when they drive by, that's the first thing that your eye is going to run to is these ginormous sunflowers. Not only is it the color, it's the fact that they're also, 12 feet tall. Let me look. This one is taller than me, and I'm 6'4". But looky. Do you see that? These things are freaking 12 feet tall. So when it comes down to planting them for a statement, that is obviously one of my favorite parts, because when they actually open, that means summertime to me. So having them in my garden is like a good time frame. Like, hey, you know what? Sunflowers starting to bloom. It's summertime. Not to mention the fact that they are heliotropic, meaning the plants actually follow the trail of the sun until they bloom. So as you can see here, this one, this one is facing the sun. When they bloom, they face east. So that's probably one of the kind of cooler parts of this plant is they follow the sun until they bloom. When they bloom, they face east, and I'm gonna tell you why. That brings me into my number 2 point. The reason why they face east whenever they open is because the sun is used to warm up the flower. It warms up the nectar. That way, pollinators can get to them. So yes, that is my number 2 reason why I plant them so much, is because they bring in pollinators, and they bring in a lot of freaking pollinators. One thing a lot of people don't understand about sunflowers is it's not just one flower and you're opening one flower. No, each one of these sunflowers is legitimately hundreds to thousands of little tiny flowers. And I took a picture really close, and I'm gonna show you right now. All right, so you see what I'm talking about? Each one of those sunflowers has a whole bunch, like maybe, up to 1,000 individual flowers. So that is a whole bunch more sources for nectar for your pollinators. And that's the main reason why I have them, because they bring in a lot of bumblebees, butterflies, and honeybees. Now, you don't just have to have like an apiary or be a bee farmer to appreciate sunflowers. My favorite part about them is they're so high, it's like a homing beacon for every bee within like a 1.5 mile radius. They're gonna see these things and they're gonna be like, yo, we need to go over there and visit them sunflowers because it's a lot of nectar. Well, guess what do you think they're gonna do whenever they visit here? They're not just gonna stick by your sunflowers, they're gonna visit the rest of your garden too. So the things that actually require pollinators to pollinate your plants so you get stuff like squashes, melons, cucumbers, congratulations, those are going to get pollinated too. So by proxy, having these, you're more likely going to get more food as well. So number 3, and this is probably the main thing that most people think about whenever I say I'm growing sunflowers, the seeds. Yes, each one of these little tiny flowers I was talking about is going to turn into its own individual seed. Now, I grow the Mammoth style sunflowers, so they will put out a lot of seed. This one's obviously a little bit smaller, but those up there are getting ridiculously big. But they're going to put out several hundred seeds, and each one of those seeds I can eat them individually and roast them like I would at the ballpark, or I could take those seeds and use them in food. So a lot of the Native Americans, what they used to do is grind up the seeds and use them as flour, sunflower flour. So you could bake them like breads and stuff. And you can also use those seeds, and what I'm going to do, the whole reason why I wanted to take advantage of these Mammoth style sunflowers, I got an expeller. I just got it today actually, and I'm going to use that expeller to press the oil out of the seeds. That way I can make my own sunflower oil. Now, there's a whole bunch of the reasons why sunflower oil is so good for you, but the main highlight here of why I wanted to do it is because if you've watched my previous videos, you know fats are hard to find in nature, okay? In wild meat, fats are hard to find. That's why ancient civilizations like Greece and Romans, whenever they had olive oil, it was such a humongous moneymaker for them, such a good commodity, because fats are very hard to find. So I can wait for October, November for the pecans to fall, or I can plant a whole bunch of these and press my own sunflower oil. Number 4, this one's quick and easy. They are drought and heat tolerant. Since they are from the Americas and I live in the Americas, guess what climate you think they're acclimated to in the DNA of the plant? Mine. So the fact that my area has these traditionally long, humid, dry summers, guess what? These keep on ticking, no problem. Now don't get me wrong. Obviously, if you give a plant a little bit more water and a little bit more nutrition, it's going to be giving you a little bit more seeds, a little bit more better performance. So you're going to want to do that. But it's nice to know that you can. So this plant does not need near as much water as, say, tomatoes do, and it's very good at dealing with the heat of the summer. So when it gets to 100, 105 degrees outside, these things don't have a problem. The 5th and final reason why I like putting them in my garden is because of the taproot. Let me explain. Sunflowers do not like to be transplanted. They'll do it if you get them very, very young, but they don't like to take transplanting because they have a very, very long taproot. That means the root they use to go down in the soil to get their nutrients. The one thing about this taproot is it's very good at breaking up compact soil, and it's a very good miner. When I say miner, I'm talking about it takes all these metals and all this, trace minerals, pulls it from deep underground and brings it up into the leaves and the seed head. Now this can also be bad because places like Chernobyl and Fukushima are using sunflowers to get rid of the radiation in the soil. You don't want to eat those plants. However, if you have a plant or an area in your garden that's very compacted, being able to grow something that has a very vigorous taproot can be very good for you because you can get all those trace minerals from way down below. It'll put them into the leaves and into the seed heads. That way, whenever you go to compost, all those minerals will be there. So things like zinc, selenium, or zinc, chromium, manganese, copper, they'll all be in the leaves. So when you compost, boom, that's gonna be there next year. Those are the 5 reasons why I like to grow sunflowers in my garden every single year. Obviously, using crop rotation, I don't put them in the same place twice. I like to rotate them around because, like I said, I use the roots to break up the dirt, the hard compacted dirt, and it works out very well. The one thing I wanted to add though is if you wanted to start growing these things, they take about 100 days to bloom, especially these mammoth ones. They take about 100 days to bloom, and they require a soil pH right around between 6 and 7.5. Another thing is they also are heavy feeders of nitrogen. So before you put down the seeds, you might want to amend the soil with things like compost, especially chicken compost, or something with a lot of nitrogen in it already. That way these plants can grow to their full potential. So I just had to add that here now. Also, for those of you who don't know, this is a warm weather plant, so don't try to grow these things in the springtime because one frost will kill them. All right, I just wanted to go ahead and climb the ladder. I'm up on the 4th rung now, so I can try to get next to this beautiful, beautiful sunflower. That way you can actually see what it looks like when you get the big ones. Hope you can see that. As you can tell, I am extremely proud of these. Alright, that'll about do it for me. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I hope you really consider growing these in your garden either this year or next year because, like I said, they are amazing to have around. I absolutely love them. But like I said, if you learned something from this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll catch y'all in the next one, okay?